What is happening right now? It's another one of our amazing sponsor partners, and I get to be with her to chat. I know, raise it up. We are going to talk all things that you guys need to know as you come into conference, and for everybody else too, because what Deborah's got going is some coolness, some way coolness. So we're going to talk all things beloved pet software and why this is so important for anybody who wants to give their families peace of mind in the chain of custody process and more. Right, Deborah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, guys, listen, Deborah Rotman in the house. So we're going to rock this deal. Hello, girl.
Hello. Thank you so much, Colleen, for being here. And we're so excited. I'm so excited.
No, you know what? Thank you, because you are getting ready to bring a whole bunch of yumminess to our conference. And for me, you know what I find just so heartwarming and I mean, it just makes me feel so good is the support that you're bringing to us and to our members and coming into Tampa in all of this craziness that's going on and saying, no, you know what, I'm committed, I'm coming in. So we cannot wait to have you there and to hear your story. Tell me where this mission for you started for Beloved Pet Software. And then we're going to dig into what is Beloved Pet Software and all the details. So tell me what that defining moment was for you that said, we need something.
Yes. Oh, such a great question. I've been a veterinarian for 25 years and the last 10 years just doing an in-home euthanasia practice. Like I've always been attracted to that moment, like helping people in that moment. I'm always like, I can do that. Like that just really calls to me the beauty of that connection with the client and the pet. And so I developed a practice doing it. We were looking at expanding and adding a crematory. I was so excited about this. And that brought me to the IAAHPC, right? Where I met the amazing Christy Cornelius, Dr. Christy Cornelius.
Oh gosh, fangirl right here.
Yeah. And so she is a long time end of life care practice owner, hospice, and crematory owner. And so we started talking crematory, and she said, "Calm down. Let me show you the ropes. Let's have a talk face to face." And our friendship just took off, and we decided at that time, like, what is missing in this process? I'm like, gosh, you don't have a software? Like, what? Where's the software that's any good? She's like, yeah, no, not really. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, we need to do this. Let's do this. And so with our experience that we already had, we thought, this is just a natural fit, a natural segue. And so we decided to do this. And so I kind of pivoted and started being the interface for the software while we interviewed and talked with so many other experts in the field of end of life care, hospice, regular practice, crematories. And we just feel like this is so wonderful because this software is being developed by people who are already running a successful crematory, right? So we know what it takes, and it's an exciting collaboration of a lot of people in the veterinary field to help this come about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love it. And one of the questions we get asked, and of course, being a crematory owner throughout my career, one of the questions we get asked is that chain of custody. Right. Tell me about that. And it's so key. They want to know all along the way that their pet is safe and that, everybody knows exactly what's happening with that precious body and the safety of it. So talk to me a little bit about how yours from taking that pet into our care to getting that pet home. Tell me what happens along the way, Deborah.
Such a great question, Colleen. So essentially, it is this beautiful process where everyone knows their parts. We have 3 different portals, okay? So we have a portal for the pet owner, we have a portal for the veterinary clinic, and we have a portal for the crematory. All 3 can access the status of the pet at any time, real time. So to us, that is critical, creating this safe and sacred space for the pet owner who has loved their pet their whole life, right? And they've never put their little Jojo down in the last 14 years. And then we take it to the crematory and they're without that pet for 10, for 10 days. And
Mhm.
so allowing them to still have that connection by being able to, after they leave their pet at the veterinary clinic or once the pet is, euthanized, then they can access the software, see where their pet is online. And it's this beautiful process. So um, this allows them to still connect with their pet. And the veterinary clinic just enters the information about the pet into the system and then cues the crematory for a pickup. I mean, can you imagine coming into your crematory and you're like, wow, here's a list of the Monday pickups. Here's the weight range of the pets to be picked up. It lists not just the average weight, but the weight of, 2 pounds to 250 pounds. So you really know how to allot your drivers
Yeah.
to different locations. The veterinary clinics are listed by region if you like, because it's customizable. And so then you can say, wow, this driver's going to go to the Northeast location and pick up these pets. So it's this beautiful thing. And the exciting thing for us is that the veterinary clinic also has access to this information. What is the status of the pet along the way? And we are super excited about them having access to the pet's delivered details, right? So, wow, who received that pet back at the veterinary clinic? What was the person's name? And or if the pet was delivered back to the pet owner's home, who was the person who signed for that, right? So we've got all of that information for them to access, as well as like that stainless steel tag number. If someone says, I have 3 bags of ashes and they all have these tags and these are the things that we know about because we've been there, right? We've experienced it. And so making these things available to the veterinary clinic, to the crematory, it really helps to foster the relationship and the trust between the three.
Yeah, I love that. I always found it fascinating. And I told you right before we started recording that in my last crematory business that I was a part of, we developed our own, much like the reason that you did too. And I remember as we were doing it, one of the things I kept saying is, I can order a $5 object from Amazon and it can tell me to the mile where that thing's at, to the minute when it's going to be to my house, where they put it on my doorstep, whatever it is. And I said, and we're not tracking these precious pets through the process, which are, for us, for our hearts, worth $1 million. There's not even a price tag on it, yet I can track a stupid $5 item. It's just, I totally hear you. Okay. So because I get so fired up on this subject in this chain of custody and being able to reassure a pet parent and a veterinary clinic and whoever's involved with the process as to what's going on with this sacred vessel that's going through the process here. So not what's bad with the other companies that are out there, but how are you different? Tell me how you're different.
Love that question. Thank you. So we're clearly developed by veterinarians and people who are in the field, right? So we understand the much higher quantity when you're working with pets than humans, right? Of cremations that people do every single week. And so this software is developed not just for, can be for a little crematory or a great big crematory. We are different because we have the 3 different portals and we care so much about the pet owners and the veterinary clinic and the crematory having that communication. It really reduces the work time and the workload that people are spending on the phone calling back and forth and answering these anxiety-filled questions, right? Because it's just amazing. It's customizable, so you can create different things within many of the pages, and that really helps it to be, more organic for that crematory. Hey, this is us, truly. So it helps represent them in a better way. I like the fact, this is a big one for me, in the when you submit a pet into the system, there is an area for a client special request, and that automatically gets sent over into the crematory screens as well. So it's this beautiful thing, because if someone wants JoJo's paw print to be all of the left front paw, and they've got 4 paw prints they've ordered, they're going to know, right, if you did both paws. And those little details contribute to excellence. And that's what we're here to do, is to be this reliable workhorse in the background to help foster excellence within the crematory. So it's just been a beautiful offering. We're excited. We have so many things I could go on and on.
I know, right? You just get fired up. I think that part right there, and I'll never forget, we had, I don't even know what kind of baby love it was, but coming through our system, and in the special notes section, they had written, and I think it was just kind of I don't know if anybody's going to do anything with this, but I'm going to put it in there. There was an R, I believe. I don't remember the total name, the full name or whatever, but there was like an R in the pet's name.
Yeah.
And they always did the R backwards for some reason. And so when we did the paw print and put the pet's name there, we did the R backwards, and they about lost their mind. So Deborah, it's the details. And for us in this end of life, that's the stuff we have to pay attention to, and then do what you just said, put it in the special notes. And if it's a poly, grab all of the little things. If it's all left front, grab the left front. Whatever it is that they say, it's that feeling that we listened, right? And we captured that detail. Oh my gosh, I love that. You know what I got to tell you? I'm going to take a right turn here. I'm fascinated by you, because you've got this right brain of feeling and being right there with them and going through it. And then I hear your left brain come through with the technical aspects and all that. Are you the programmer, or did you design and go, okay, people, here, go execute on what I just designed? Tell me about that.
I love that so much. It's such a great question. So after getting a lot of input from all the people in the field, Christy and I worked together to kind of develop these things of this ginormous, can't tell you how big it was, list of things, software, and how it's going to work and how it's going to be easy and intuitive. Because when you're in the field for long enough, you have used a lot of different softwares. And you go, oh, I will never do that. Or I want that is a great thing. So accumulating that experience has allowed us to kind of come up with this detailed, massive list. And then we have partnered with this amazing software development firm. So we have a giant team who's doing this for us. Yeah, software development, that's not me. I know my strengths, but they're amazing because they have this fresh perspective. And they said, look, let's take this back a little bit, and really, this is a manufacturing process, right? You're taking the pet from place to place to place. And so they reframed it in a way that they understood it, because they're experts in manufacturing software. So we have collaborated and married the two to allow this to be this beautiful offering. So it is a huge, huge team that we're working with. Yeah. So we are excited to do that, because we feel all of that input has really given us valuable insight as to what's the best direction to go.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to be all things to all people, I'm like, no, let's let the experts do this. So it's been great.
Yeah.
Really.
And you know what? When you unpack it in the way that you unpacked it, which is, this is a UPS tracking software or a manufacturing software. We got to get things from point A to point B, and I got to know where it's at along the line. That's exactly what we're doing. Exactly. And so you did it. Tell me, okay, so these guys, I love where you're going with this. So you got these fresh creative minds. We added some e-commerce in there. You've got, oh, tell me, I want to hear about that. Tell me about that.
Excited about the e-commerce, because we feel like it's just so exciting. How many, raise your hand, pet crematories that are looking at this? You have so much to offer, and you just can't get it to the pet owner, right? You can't give your full offering. There's these nuances that we understand, that when the pet owner is leaving their pet after it's been euthanized, like, they are just at the emotional distress level is very high. They can just choose, do I want an individual or a communal? That's really about all they're at. And the veterinary clinic says, okay, thank you very much. We'll schedule you for the individual. And so this allows the pet owner to go home and they've got the login information and they get onto the software and they see the status of their pet and they scroll down and there, if they want to have other offerings visible to them about the memorialization of their pet, they can add those things on and they'll be delivered back in the same way that their initial request for the cremation, like delivered back to their bed or mailed to their home. So it's this beautiful thing because the crematory can upload photos of each individual item and description of the item, and they can also categorize things into different categories. And so when the pet owner, so they're actually putting things that are visible on the pet owner portal. And so it's really there, and when the pet owner purchases something, the money goes directly to the crematory.
Yeah.
So we
Wow.
just feel like this is really a way to help the crematory shine. And so many offerings now are out there of like a lot of pet owners, they don't know what to do with those ashes, right? So stepping stones crematories have come up with all these other beautiful creative things that they can offer. And the pet owner is going to go, oh yes, that resonates. That feels right. So it's this beautiful thing that that the e-commerce adds to it. And we're excited because we really wanted to hold the pet owner, we really want to hold the veterinary clinic, and we really want to hold the crematory. And so by looking at each of those individually and marrying the three, it's just been a beautiful thing.
You know what? In our responsibility, I've said that if I've said it once, Deborah, I've said it 1,000 times. People don't wake up on a bright, sunshiny morning and say, I'm going to go get educated on death today and my options after. And I've been in death care for 34 years. And when you say an urn, people have 19,000 different things that go through their head. And when you say, that you've got this paw print and we can make a necklace out of it, or we can add it on a rock, or they don't go research that stuff. And so when we get to bring it to them and they go, oh, I didn't even know I could do that. Are you kidding me? Boom. That's me. But we've got to bring it to them because it's not something that they want to go search. And by the way, what do they even know to search for? They don't even know the words to use, but for the urn, necklace, ashes. No, that may not be the words, but if we can educate them and if we can make purchasing easy, that's what I always said. I'm not selling you anything. I'm educating you on what your options are, and you pick what you want. You pick what you want. I want you to have what you want. But I don't ever, and I love where you're going with this, I don't ever want somebody to come back to me and say, I wish you'd have told me I could have done that because I'd have done that. And I'm like, oh, then I look like the bad guy because I believed I was selling them something versus educating them on something,
Right.
So I love it. Okay, now you had another thing that rocked your world with some pet loss resources and some things that you're putting out there too to really make this program just big and yummy and robust.
Right. So, when the pet owner gets into the system, we wanted 360-degree level of care for them as much as we can provide. And so having the status right up front available for them, having then the option that they can scroll down and see other items they can purchase to memorialize their pet, like that little border collie necklace that just calls them, what really connects with them. And if not, then not. This is all in the privacy of their own home. There's no feeling of selling, right? It's options, it's available, So then we also have people need to, again, they have this space of time where they don't have access to their pet. And so we felt, wow, they can post a memorial here. They can share what's in their heart about their pet. They can post a photo about their pet. I mean, it's just this beautiful offering. And they can also then go and access the pet loss resources. And so many of our clients don't even know that's a thing or know that that's available. So and this is completely customizable by the crematory as well. So it's so exciting that people can go, wow, there is a list of things that, because there's other people like me I just didn't realize there was anybody else. I thought I was going through this alone.
Doesn't it
Never.
break your heart?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. You know, and if you don't know the answer to this question, just say TBD, TBD, okay? What do you think the next phases of Beloved Pet Software? What are you hearing that says, oh, you know what, that the client is changing, the veterinarian is changing, the crematories are changing, we're all changing, and and sometimes software is a little bit like driving a car off the lot. The minute it comes out, it's like, oop, now I got to tweak it, now I got to add this. What's coming? Is there anything? I know you're just now getting things out and tweaking it, but is there still your whiteboard behind you that says we're going to work on these things too? These are coming.
That's a great question. And so part of our, we've been working on it for over 2 years, getting these things. And a lot of software firms just want you to release just the basic thing. And I was like, no. Like we need the package for people. We need to get as much completed in the software as possible because it all is interrelated, right? You can't just have the tracking. You also need the pet owner portal. You also need the veterinary clinic portal. So we've waited to release it for that reason, so that we have as much as possible already in the software. We do, however, have something that I am excited about to say is that we're going to have real live people who are familiar with the software answering phones and meeting with people so that we have live phone support, right? I know it seems like so old fashioned, but we're like, come on, people. If people have questions, if they have suggestions, if they have ideas, we are going to integrate that because our relationship with our software team doesn't just end on release date. It continues. And we anticipate that we're going to have some other things that are come out. Like, if there's a different way of charging that comes out that becomes mandated, whatever, we're available for that. So we understand that these things sometimes will evolve as it goes along. And we're planning on that. So while we don't have specific things on a whiteboard, we know that things evolve and we're excited to continue that where it's not going to be a static stationary software, right? We already know that people need to access through iPhone, people need to access through Android, people need to access on a Mac. They want to have a non-Mac, right? Like they need a desktop. And so all these things, those are just the basics, right? And we want to make sure that that we continue to stay at the top of our field.
Yeah. Well, and gosh, since even the beginning of IHPC, of which I've been a part of, and in this end of life field that you and I are in of the veterinary side, the medical side, wow, I've seen that change a gazillion. So it's just going to continue to evolve. And, we're getting more sophisticated. The pet parent is getting more sophisticated. The crematories are getting more sophisticated. Everybody's getting more sophisticated. And, and I think about this statement that Simon Sinek said. It was a year ago, right when the pandemic started. And I was watching a webinar in March. And this was 2020. And he said, what was unacceptable in February of 2020 is now very acceptable in March of 2020. So in a lot of this tech and this virtual stuff, and a pet parent being able to virtually track their pet and to see where they're at. And I say virtually, just, obviously not seeing it, but knowing, that all of that stuff is now very real. It's very important. It's very big. And I think we're going to continue to get pushed on more and more and more, again, as we all continue to evolve, right? Don't you agree with that, Deborah?
100%. Absolutely do. Yeah. So this evolution is necessary to continue. And that's part of what our planning has been with the software. Yeah.
Love it. And you made a point, and I've said a gazillion times, a gazillion, and everybody, that is a big number, a gazillion. The one thing that costs us nothing can cost us everything, and that's communication. And I know that's a huge thing with your software, is helping out in that transparency of communication. Tell me about that. Tell me from your heart about that.
I love that. And so we look at this as this triangle of trust and communication. So I'm glad you brought it. The pet owner, the crematory, and the veterinary clinic, right? We're here to foster that. It's just so important to increase the transparency and efficiency and reliability that is needed. I mean, it's demanded these days, right? You just can't hint at it. You can't just say, oh, this is the way it used to be. Here's your pet, it'll be back. No, now you get to find out where your pet is because people want to know. So we love that we have this amazing amount of communication from when the pet gets entered into the system and it automatically goes into the pet list for the crematory, for the fact that if a veterinary clinic goes and has a pet that's 250 pounds that comes in, they can mark a pickup as urgent. So that goes to the top of the pickup list, right? So because they're like, we don't have freezer space for this. The fact that you can automatically schedule days of the week for the pickup for a veterinary clinic, so they're not having to call. So the communication is going to be through the software. I just love the fact that, you know, it goes from the beginning of it where they're entering it into the software all the way to the end of it where where an invoice is sent from the crematory, right, to the veterinary clinic.
Mm-hmm.
There is a line item real-time invoice that's visible both to the veterinary clinic and the crematory of every pet that has had a completion date, what was done, how much they're being charged for it. And they also have access to previous invoices. So this extends from not only at the front end, but also the back end and the admin for the veterinary clinic and the crematory. So it really like this communication, so that, you know, everything that the pet owner has ordered, they can see in the vet, you know, in their pet owner portal. The veterinary clinic can see that, and the crematory can see that. So when we have this beautiful three-way communication, it just means everything. We just want this transparency. So, and it saves so much time and money. Oh my goodness.
Oh
like,
my gosh. Think about that. Family calls the vet. When's the pet coming back? Where is he at? Vet hangs up the phone, gets busy. Now it's the end of the day. Oh my gosh, calls the crematory. Oh, we're about ready to close. I'll check it tomorrow. Meanwhile, the family is at home going tick, tick, tick. And now they start getting angry and anxious, and it just falls off the rails, doesn't it? Just falls off the rails. And I've always said I love your because I do it too. It's a three-legged stool. Okay, it's a three-legged stool. And if one of those legs gets not the best service, that means that leg is shorter and the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah.
Right? It all falls apart. Oh my goodness. Girl, we've been on this thing 30 minutes already. 30 minutes. Give me, I know, right? Give me a final until we see you in Tampa. Give me a final thought. Where can they learn more about you before they get to Tampa? And then what do you want to leave as a parting word for them?
They can find out more about us at belovedpetsoftware.com or email us at belovedpetsoftware@gmail.com, or they can check our Instagram. We will get them on a list of updates with specific information about the items that are going into the software, so you can stay abreast of what's happening. This is being released December 2021. And so we're excited to have people on board and get to know it. We're also doing like a $1 trial for the first 30 days where people can figure out, do we like this? Do we not like this? So that they're not feeling like, oh, I can't get into this. And, you know, I need to see what works right for me. We know that you'll love it.
Yeah.
So.
You know what? Sometimes we just need to date a little before we get married, right? So we're going to date on $1. We're going to date on $1. And then we're going to say, we are so committed. Let's do it. Let's do it. Right?
Wonderful.
I love it. We cannot wait to see you in Tampa, and can't even tell you how much I adore what you're doing. And thank you so much for your support.
No, absolutely. Thank you, Colleen. And thank you for having me here and taking the time to interview me. This has been wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll see you in Tampa. See you in Tampa.